In this episode, I'll be answering all the questions that you've been sending in to me about manifesting to help you improve your results. So let's get started.
Hi, I'm Katie, and after many years as a struggling single mum, I transformed into a highly successful manifester with multiple businesses, better relationships, financial abundance, and way more peace, joy, and happiness in my life. Each week, I share the real secrets around how to manifest successfully, as well as the amazing and sometimes crazy lessons I've learned along the way, so that you can apply it all to your own manifesting, transforming your life from the inside out. This is That Manifesting Podcast.
Welcome back to That Manifesting Podcast. Now, if you're anything like me, you'll watch a video or listen to a podcast and you get questions, or as I like to call them, the yeah buts. So you might listen to something and think, okay, yeah, but, and then you have a question. So I knew when I was planning this podcast that I really wanted to have regular episodes where I was just answering the questions that people sent in. I always have a good idea of what I think people need to know or might want to know, but there's nothing like people sending in their questions to really help me to help you even more. This podcast is for you. I could just sit at home and chat to the dog or chat to myself in the mirror. But this is for you, so I want you to get the most out of it. So before I get started, if you do want me to answer your question in a future episode, then send me a DM. You can connect with me on most of the social media platforms. It's always called The Manifesting Mindset. So just DM me and let me know your question, and I will cover it in a future Q&A type episode. When you send me a DM, just let me know if you're happy for me to use your name and location or keep it anonymous, and we'll just go from there. So yeah, this is the first of this type of episode. Let me know what you think of it, if it's useful, and yes, send me your questions. Okay, so the first question is from Lizzie, and Lizzie says, I feel really positive about manifesting more money, and I've been trying to do it for 6 months. But it still isn't happening. What should I do? Okay, so first off, Lizzie, thank you for your question. So I would say you've decided that there's a time limit just by referring to having tried to do this for 6 months. You've put a self-imposed time limit on it. And that in itself is a block. That is a block to manifestation and something flowing into your life. It took me a long time to manifest the money that I wanted in my life. And I'm talking years. You can't give up on this, Lizzie. You've got to keep going and you've got to keep working on yourself and know that it's coming to you. When you put yourself a time limit on, it's not your job to decide when something will come to you. You just have to focus on your part, which is getting the internal in alignment with what you want. Okay? Now, it could also be that your positive thoughts are coming from your conscious thinking mind. So you might think that you feel really positive about manifesting, but as it's our subconscious thoughts that are responsible for manifesting our reality, you might find that your subconscious thoughts aren't in agreement with the conscious mind because it's your subconscious that's shaped by your past experiences, societal conditioning, and even your parents' beliefs about money. So these limiting beliefs about money could be holding you back, if you have them, from achieving your financial goals, even if your conscious mind is aligned with the idea of manifesting more money. Okay, so I would say, first of all, drop the time limit. It's not down to you to decide when something happens. That isn't in our control. Second of all, really take some time to dig deep and understand what your subconscious thoughts and feelings are about manifesting more money. What did you grow up thinking about money? What did your parents tell you about money? What's your experience of money? Spend some self-reflection time on that, because you might find that there's some blocks there that are preventing you from getting what you want. So I hope that helped, Lizzie. I fully believe that you can manifest the money that you want, but I appreciate it's hard. It is hard. But focus on those two things and that should help. Okay, so our next question is from Joe. I'm not sure if Joe's a male or female, but hello, Joe. Joe has asked, I'm a single parent and I keep trying to manifest a better life, but it's not happening. I think I'm doing something wrong because nothing is changing. I try to be positive. I try to believe I can have what I want, but it still isn't working. What am I doing wrong? Ugh. Joe, this one really spoke to me because I could have written this years ago. This was exactly how I felt years ago. So Joe, I'm sending you first and foremost loads of love because I know exactly how that feels. Being a single parent is tough and I get it. You know, the time, the stress, you feel guilty about wanting something more for yourself and then it's not working. It's hard and I've been there. I totally get it. So Joe, you're not alone. And thank you for writing into me because that can take guts as well. Now look, you don't try to manifest, okay? You're always manifesting. Think of it more like breathing. You're always doing it, but the choice is there to intentionally take control or not. So I just noticed that you said you're trying to manifest a better life. Let me tell you, you are manifesting, but there's maybe some little bits of work that need to happen to really help you take better control of what you're manifesting into your life. I do think that one thing that may be working against you is that you're being too hard on yourself. You are subconsciously beating yourself up. And the question I would ask to you is, would you speak to your children the way that you're speaking to yourself? You know, you're being really hard on yourself about thinking that you're doing things wrong. You know, if your kids came home and they hadn't been successful at something at school, would you berate them? No, you treat them with love and kindness and kind of help them reset their pathway and look at things a bit differently. And this is something that you have to do for yourself, Joe. And positive thinking, again, you're being hard on yourself, thinking you have to be positive all the time. That's just impossible. No one can be positive all the time. Let me tell you, Joe, if you see me in a traffic jam and I've been there for a good 10 minutes and someone tries to push in front of me, positive Katie is not there. Not at all. You know, it's just, you can't be positive all the time. Things happen, crap things happen, tricky things happen, annoying things happen. So please remove the need to feel like you have to be positive all the time. You know, especially as a single parent, that is so tough. And Joe, go back and listen to episode 2, and that is all about positive thinking. That will really help you, I think. I do think you've got some blocks in place that need to be worked on. More than likely, you've probably got a belief block about worthiness. I'm just guessing just from the tone of your message. I've obviously received and had lots of conversations like this with other clients. So I think that might be something that you're struggling with. So here's where I want you to start, Joe. Write out exactly what you want and be very, very specific. Then I want you to think about and write or voice note your entire experience with each thing that you said you want. What you learnt, what you experienced, what people have said to you, everything that you can think of about that thing that you want to manifest. I want you to capture it all, because this will give you a really clear picture on what your real relationship is with each thing. And it will also then show you what's blocking you or being sent out subconsciously and manifesting more of in your life. When I was trying to manifest more money, I, on the surface, felt very positive about it and it wasn't happening. But when I did this exercise, one of the things that came up for me was I used to watch my mum writing checks when I was a child, and my mum worked really, really hard. She had lots of part-time jobs. And one of the things I would sit and watch her do was writing out checks, working out how to pay all the bills. And the lesson that I learned was that money was hard to get and very easy to get rid of. So that was my underlying subconscious belief. And it was actually what was driving my relationship with money. So even though consciously I felt very positive about money, subconsciously I wasn't going to manifest more whilst that story was still in place. Okay, so Jo, I hope that helps. Please be kinder to yourself and listen back to this a couple of times and take on all those actions that I've just shared. Okay, our next question is from Dan. And Dan says, I always believed the hype until listening to your podcast and seeing your videos. I honestly thought I could just believe in something, feel good about it, and then have it. Although it hadn't happened for me, I still felt positive believing it was on the way. Now you've said completely the opposite, and I can't help but feel deflated. How do I pick myself up and start focusing on intentional manifesting again, but doing it the right way? Katie, I need a big kick up the arse to get out of this slump. Okay. Oh, Dan, I'm sorry, first of all. Well, I'm sorry, not sorry. That's the saying. Sorry, not sorry, because these bubbles need to be burst. There's a lot of people out there that are sharing information that is just absolute twaddle. It's rubbish. And it's not true. And it really, I find it so annoying that people are being told that all they have to do is believe in something and then they can get it. So I am sorry to have burst your bubble, but it was necessary. You know, there is so much crap out there. It just pees me off that people are being peddled with fake information about manifesting. So I'm here to tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear. Okay, that's me off my soapbox. Sorry about that. Okay, so Dan, look, if you'd continued the way you were, I can pretty much guarantee that you wouldn't have manifested what you wanted. You'd have probably got the exact opposite. Okay? Here's the kick up the arse that you asked for. Look, the universe is not just going to hand everything to you. It's just not how it works. If you want your dreams, you've got to work for them. You've got to fight for them. You've got to do the internal work. And most importantly, you've got to never, ever give up, you know? What sets successful people apart from those who never manifest their goals is not talent. It's not luck. It's not even resources. It's the ability to keep going, the ability to pick themselves up after a setback, the ability to keep pushing forward no matter what. And let me tell you, there will be setbacks. There will be obstacles. There will be times when you want to give up. But you have to remember who you are. You know, you're the creator of your life. You're the architect of your destiny. You've got the power to shape your future, to make your dreams a reality. So when the going gets tough, when you feel like giving up, just remember why you started, and remember that somewhere, even in your hardest moments, there's a fire that's burning inside you. There's a passion that's driving you on, and you've got to use that to fuel your determination, push through the obstacles, and never, ever, ever give up. Oh, Dan, I feel motivated now. I hope you do too. I enjoyed that. But no, Dan, look, you've got all the right feelings about wanting to manifest. You just need to stop believing all of that stuff that's on the internet. And you've got to focus on the internal, focus on your actions, get out there and make things happen. And you can do it. I know you can. But thank you so much for messaging in. Great question. And I'm sure I'm bursting a lot of bubbles out there. So if that's you too, then I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry at the same time. Okay, our final question for today comes from Sean. And Sean says, I feel like I'm standing in the way of my own manifesting success. I always come up with a reason not to go for what I want in life. I always feel like it's just impossible. And I just revert back to that place of not believing that I can really manifest something that I want. How do I get out of my own way and just do it? Oh, look, Sean, I get it. I've been there. As a single mum for years, whenever I thought about trying to achieve something different, whether it was a better job or more money or a relationship, my go-to position was that it was impossible. I fought so hard for my limiting beliefs, and I would fight for them to anyone who would listen. I would tell people, oh, I haven't got the time for that. I'm a single mum. I haven't got time for that. But yet I found time to watch TV after my daughter was in bed. I would quite happily sit for 2 or 3 hours once she was in bed watching the TV. You know, I would tell people and myself that I didn't have any opportunity to do anything different with my life. But I didn't even try to come up with a plan. I didn't even think about what actions I could be taking. And I would tell people that listened that men were jerks and, you know, there were no decent men out there, even though I didn't accept any dates from guys that I knew were good ones. It was only when I realised that I was standing in my own way that I then realised that life could be different if I'd only let it be. You know, at some point, as hard as it might be to hear, you have to take responsibility for manifesting your dreams and just let all that old crap go that's holding you back. Most importantly, you've got to be honest with yourself and how you might be self-sabotaging. This isn't easy. It does take guts, it takes will, it takes determination, and sometimes it will feel easier to just revert to type and get back on that hamster wheel of the same thing over and over and over again. But believe me, one day you will look back, just like I did, and you'll wish that you'd started sooner. So make that day today. Have this as your line in the sand to do something different, okay? So thank you, Sian, so much for getting in touch. Okay. So we covered a lot there. Lot of loving arse kicking. A lot of lovely but hard, maybe hard to hear words there. A lot of bubbles burst. Sorry again, not sorry. Please do keep sending in your emails or your DMs. I'll answer as many as I can in future episodes. I really enjoy hearing from you and knowing what it is specifically that you're struggling with, because I guarantee you're not going to be the only person. It's not just you out there that's feeling this kind of way about something. So when you can share with me what you're feeling, then just know that you're kind of paying it forward because you are going to be helping somebody else. So feel free to let me know if there's anything that I can help you with.
So that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed listening, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe and leave a review, because it really does help me to reach more people. I've left some links in the show notes so you can connect with me, or you can grab one of my manifesting resources. Until next week, sending you lots of love, light, and manifesting vibes.